Naraka Bladepoint is a newly released class-based battle royale game set on an island consisting of 60 players. The game offers the mobility and combat you might expect from other Chinese games, such as Swords of Legends Online. The floaty nature of combat and the insane agility that players can perform creates a very unique feeling, not only for a BR, but for a combat game in general. This is so well augmented with the absolutely stunning scenery present in the game. The game was developed by 24 Entertainment and published by NetEase Games Montreal. 24 Entertainment is a Chinese-owned and operated company who has only developed Naraka Bladepoint. As a premier game, Naraka Bladepoint is an impressive display and shows a promising future for the company. NetEase Games Montreal is the Canadian studio located in Quebec for NetEase Games, who is another Chinese-owned and operated company that have partnered with Western companies to bring games to China in the past. These games include Overwatch, Minecraft, and EVE Online. They have also played a part in the development of games such as Diablo Immortal, The Lord of the Rings Rise of War, and Tom and Jerry Chase. So mostly into the development of mobile games, but now they have also worked to bring a Chinese-developed game to the West. The game consists of 3 game modes. Quick Match, which most people can probably guess, but is just the normal game and can be played in solos or threes. The Herald's Trial, which is the ranked form of the game and plays the same as Quick Match, except for at the end, you either gain or lose rank depending on how well you did. And the Bloodbath, which puts the target on the top 3 players, so it creates a far more aggressive style, and the person with the highest score wins rather than the last one alive. Kind of like a free-for-all game from a shooter, and it's played on a much smaller map than the other 2 game modes. So let's start talking about the game, beginning with the visuals. Visually, this game looks stunning, with flashy abilities and great scenery. If you're a person who cares about the looks of a game, then you will be very pleased with this one. There are also uniquely diverse biomes present within the game. It has anything from water to desert to cliffs to ravines. No one could say that the game landscapes don't look good. Also, each attack from the weapons feels unique and is very well choreographed. And the abilities that each unique character has are insanely well designed. Bonus, running off the wall and jumping off without using a direction makes your character do a dope-ass backflip. You feel like you're back to the good old days, sitting at home after school, watching Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon for the 900th time. I mean, I guess there could be some complete freak out there who hates the dilapidated shrine aesthetic or thinks that grass is cringe. So if you're one of the 5 living people who hates the Chinese landscape art style, then I guess you might think the game looks bad. Now, let's talk about performance. The game performs fairly well on my setup, which is a 3060 Ti, i7-6700K, and 32GB of RAM at max settings. So even if you're running on a worse system, lowering the settings should be enough to get you consistent frames on this game. I've noticed a decent amount of lagging from many players, including myself, however. Usually it's minor and not that impactful, but there are times where it straight up loses you fights, which for me is every single fight I lose is due to lag, obviously. So if you're in an area with bad internet, it might be better to wait for the game to improve its servers just a bit before jumping into it. Now, let's move on to the gameplay. The movement of this game feels absolutely great. You can scale basically anything in the game, and there's no fall damage. So you get opportunities to perform some pretty cool high-flying escapades. And you never feel like you get trapped by the game for going the wrong way because you can scale anything, and the game gives you a grappling hook to either travel faster or lock onto an enemy and zip yourself to him. When people compare Apex to Fortnite, they'll often mention that the movement in Apex is superior because a lot of these things. No fall damage, the verticality is great, ability to travel across the map quickly. These 3 major things are what make Apex's movement feel way better to Fortnite's. 24 Entertainment must have taken notes on this because it feels great to run around and climb shit in this game. Now, the moment I know you guys have mostly been waiting for is to talk about the combat. Now, for a battle royale, this is where it gets somewhat unique. The fighting mostly centers around melee combat. There are, of course, ranged weapons, but they do not have aim assist to them where the melee weapons do. And of course, this is necessary in a game where you're doing flips over each other at high speeds while swinging swords and spears at each other. I do wish there was at least a little bit more help with the range weapons, But that being said, there are some standouts, such as the repeating crossbow, because it's essentially an Uzi you just spray in the general direction of an enemy, and the cannon, because it'll make you feel like you're noob tubing on Nuketown again. There are some rare drops, like the flamethrower and the missile launcher, that you can get, and those are great and fun and really strong, but don't count on them too much, because just finding the box that can contain them is RNG enough, let alone it having either one of them. I think every melee weapon in the game is excellently designed, and at least they mostly seem balanced. You get a quick and strong attack, not unlike most combat games since the beginning of time, but they do both feel very good to use, and your choice in combat feels very important. There's no blocking per se. It's not like in other action combat systems where you can hold right click and block any incoming attack from an enemy. You have to time your parry like you're fucking Daigo or some shit. If you do, the enemy will be stunned out of their attack chain, and you'll get a chance to do a counter follow-up. Sometimes it even fucks them worse and makes them drop their weapon. Oh yeah, there's also stagger, so that's kind of fucking annoying. You can get touch of death sometimes, especially if you're outnumbered, so good fucking luck. Then, each character has 2 unique abilities and a set of glyphs or talents depending on which path you're on. They get these later in levels to improve their strength. Each character does something different, but you have your basic damage, tank, controller, and healer characters. Each of their abilities is incredibly important to use correctly, so learning the characters also feels very good because you start to understand their setups, strengths, and weaknesses. Now let's talk about the characters. Currently, there are only 7 characters in the game, and they are Blind Lady Viper Ning, Strong Dude Tumulch, Wraith Clone Matari, Fire Guy Tarky G, Healer Girl Kurumi, Monk Boy Tien Shinron, Tien Hai, then token OP character that does absurd fucking damage for no goddamn reason, Yodohime. Each character gets to choose from 3 different versions of their 2 abilities and glyphs/talents, and these are all unlocked by level. Viper Ning plays like a controller with her abilities doing a lot of CC, but she also does a lot of damage, so watch out. Tumulch also acts as a controller, but more on the tanky side. Matari blinks around and turns invisible, so she's gonna full combo you before you can do shit about it. Tarka G is just straight aggro. He gets to parry your ass as an ability like he's Roy in Super Smash Bros, or throw a fireball on your face, and then he gets to go Super Saiyan and run around while on fire. Kurumi is the healer, and she does a lot of healing, so you gotta be careful if you're fighting her in a full team. Tianhai is way too damn tanky, and one of his abilities makes him even more tanky, and he reflects projectiles and that shit. Then he turns into a god and grabs you from 10,000 feet away and slams you into the ground. And finally, Yodohime. She throws a fucking Beyblade at you for hella damage, and then her sword gets like 10x in size and she slams that shit down 3 fucking times. You're gonna get smacked and you're gonna die. Now, let's talk about the absolutely robust customization in this game. Each character has an insane amount of customization, not just from the pre-made things like hairstyles and clothes, but you can customize the character yourself with an absolutely outrageous number of sliders, looking like a Sims customizer on crack. Okay, let's talk about the monetization. Now, as not too unexpected of games these days, but especially Eastern games, it is heavily monetized. But I'm extremely happy to say that it is not pay to win at all, at least not that I can tell. Very much like Swords of Legends Online, the in-game store is strictly cosmetics. This seems to be a very good trend from the Chinese market, that they are producing quality games without the pay to win features, and I hope it continues and spreads to every region. Then they have their cash shop, which consists entirely of cosmetic things such as character customizations, weapon skins, emotes, and loot boxes. So all in all, it's not horrible. Now, we have the classic battle pass that comes as a requirement to even call yourself a BR these days. I will say that the free things you get from the battle pass are pretty standard and not bad by any means. So don't feel like you missed out too much or got shafted for not upgrading to the advanced hidden treasure, because the free cosmetics are fine enough. Now, my closing thoughts on the game. There are some other unique things like collecting the dioramas in the lobby to get extra rewards after the game. They've also made it so that you get in-game currency for duplicates, so you could eventually afford whatever the cosmetic is that you want, very much like Overwatch has done for their skins. Also, this game starts out fucking absurdly loud, and the sensitivity settings are in the key bindings, not the options. So watch out for those two things. Also, sometimes the translations aren't that good too, so just kind of guess what they mean. So, should you play this game? I think it is an excellent game, and if you like the action combat systems somewhat reminiscent of fighting games mixed with New World, or are a big Battle Royale fan, then I think you'll have a great time. Where? Oh, I got it, I got it. Yes! We did it! Alright, that's all for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment while you're down there. I hope you have a fantastic day. That's it. Peace.